Friends in a Book is just what it says. Four dear friends discussing a book.
Let's talk books. And now coming to you live from multiple points around the globe, including Las Vegas and Denton, Texas, we've got Four Friends and a Book, or Four Books and a Friend, whichever you want to call it today. And with us to my left in the upper corner is the lovely and timeless Dr. Teresa Sterrett.
Howdy, howdy. I'm glad to be with you guys, even if we're not in the same space. And to my, I don't know, it's really not to my left, but we have the Mays, who are so cute. That's their subtitle. So
we would
welcome
technically
from
be,
Vegas.
I think we would technically be to your west.
Oh, don't.
Fair.
Nope.
Yeah.
Two turns
No.
past the stop sign on the past the mailbox.
Go down where
That's
the
where you
old
are.
Johnson barn used to be. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Well,
No,
yes,
you guys have been visiting family.
we
Yes.
have been. We are in Las Vegas. We are visiting my side of the family. My mom and sister and niece and nephew and a bunch of other folks live here. My granddaughter and her husband and their two children just relocated here from Spangdahlem, Germany. And I apologize for my voice. It's shot from last night's football game. But anyway,
Time out. Just to rehash, what happened in that football game?
Yeah.
it was a very lovely setting. The venue was lovely. The food was delightful. The friendship and met new friends. Yeah, that's all I remember.
And just in case anybody didn't realize, it was the Raiders at the Raider Stadium versus the Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys. So Cowboys won.
Cowboys won convincingly. The Cowboys looked like I expected.
Looks good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was quite fun for me.
Yeah.
Diane, I
That's
just
awesome.
wanted to support you in that house divided.
Yeah. Thank you.
We took our house divided flag. As far as we know, we did not make it onto TV or the big screen or anything else.
A lot of people took pictures with me with my jersey on.
Oh.
She wore a Micah Parsons Dallas Cowboys jersey. And for many who are following this podcast, if there are many, they may not be football fans, but Micah Parsons played for the Cowboys out of college at Penn State up through the beginning of this year when he was traded to the Green Bay Packers.
I loved him.
Much to the chagrin of many Cowboys fans. Diane purchased a Micah Parsons jersey a couple of years ago.
Actually, it was a Christmas present from
Oh.
Charlie, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, and it's number 11. So we went shopping and found white duct tape to go on the vertical ones. And she wrote in black marker, "Trade Jerry," who is the owner of the Cowboys. And you can't trade the owner. There were a lot of Cowboys fans at the game.
Were there?
And
Yeah.
probably half. There were times when it was louder. The Cowboys fans were louder than the Raiders fans
Which is bizarre because that stadium is loud.
Raiders
fans are loud.
Well, and the Cowboys travel well generally, especially to Vegas or to some of the closer stadiums for sure. So
And I think
that had
there's
to be
so
a
many
rocking good time.
fans. Sorry, David. There's
No,
so
no,
many
no.
fans that live in the area.
Mm.
Like Cowboys fans just happen to be everywhere.
And one of the things that the locals have said is that because it's Las Vegas, so many other team supporters travel en masse so they can, for football games in Vegas, because they can come in on a Friday, gamble Friday night, Saturday party, go to the football game Sunday, fly out late Sunday night, and be back at work on Monday. So there's a lot of people that travel here, but most of the Cowboys fans that saw Diane's jersey appreciated it and liked it. There were a few who objected.
There was one.
No, there were two.
Oh, were there?
Yeah, the guy last night down the casino was not wild about it. He goes, ah.
Oh,
So
yeah, both really, really drunk
a
guys.
lot of really drunk people
Really drunk.
after the game that went. as we were talking on the way out, I'll talk to anybody, just engage in conversation. And after a football game, when there is lots of imbibery happening, I may have to revisit my policy, because my Lord, did we encounter lots of drunks last night. But that's fun.
But you made a new friend.
I did. Again, don't want to make, this is not a sports podcast, obviously, but Willie Brown, the Hall of Famer, actually he started with the Denver Broncos, but I won't hold that against him because he brought us glory. Willie Brown, one of the all-time great Raiders, a member of the Soul Patrol, which was the first all-black defensive backfield in NFL history, on the Super Bowl trophy, which we saw the three of them last night, on the Super Bowl trophy for the very first Super Bowl the Raiders won, they have an engraving on this glass encased place where they keep it. And on the box that it's sitting on, they have a description of the game, and they mention Willie Brown's interception that he ran back for a touchdown. The imagery is iconic in NFL history, not just the Raiders, of him running down the field. It's just really, really, yeah, it's really cool. I met his daughter last night at the game, and she was very lovely and offered to send some memorabilia to us. So, yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
Vegas. Those are the kinds
Never
of
met
things.
a stranger. That's you.
That is Joe. Yes.
I love it.
I think I inherited that from my father. Got that honestly.
All right.
Okay, we ready to dive in? Teresa, you are introducing the genre and the book for the week, and we have opinions.
I'm so glad. And when you texted me that you did have opinions about the book you read, I'm very interested to hear. And our genre this week, our focus this week, is on a legal thriller. And thriller's a whole big, huge pile of books, but then legal thriller kind of narrows it a little bit. And the reason I chose this was because as an advanced reader copy, I read, I keep forgetting whether I think it's Margolin. Yes, Phillip Margolin just came out with a book called False Witness. And it was so enjoyable and incredibly well done. It made me remember why I like a very well done legal thriller. The premise, this is a standalone. He's got some different series books, but this one is a standalone, which I highly recommend if you want to dip your toe into this particular genre. Incredibly well written characters, very it kept me guessing until the end. Probably that was more about me than it was about the book. It was but it was just a great escape, and the different caveats associated with the female character, the lead character, was so interesting. She was falsely imprisoned, and she was disbarred, but you find out who the person who set her up is, and that was it was like peeling back an onion, and just really finding a very tasty treat in the middle. But this one I truly recommend. But I want to hear your take on what you read, because I know that our experiences maybe weren't the same.
Let me start with, I am a huge legal thriller fan. I have loved John Grisham going back to the 1980s. A Time to Kill came out in 89, The Firm in 91, The Rainmaker in 95. There's just so many John Grisham books. The Pelican Brief, many of these were made into movies, but the books themselves were phenomenal. Scott Turo's Presumed Innocent is another.
100%. Oof.
Absolutely love that one.
I wonder if it would hold up.
I would be interested in going back to reread that.
Yeah.
But like A Few Good Men is another one.
Mm.
That's a great legal thriller set in the
Mhm.
military, which is another favorite genre of mine.
Yeah.
So we chose to read or listen to, since we're traveling, we chose to listen to Grisham's latest book, Widow. And it was a legal thriller with a whodunit twist to it.
Mhm.
And I probably won't read any more John Grisham.
Talk to us about that. What's the
Yeah.
deal?
A couple of things. Well, you want to go first, then?
Well, see, for me, I like those movies. I like the movies,
Mhm.
political. What are they? Not see, I did it again. I
She
keep
keeps
calling them political mysteries because I so don't know the genre.
It's okay.
Legal thriller.
Mhm.
The movies are good. I like Presumed Innocent and The Firm, all those that you just named. But listening to them, I'm an audiobook person, so
Mhm.
I would assume reading them would feel the same way. They the courtroom scenes are tedious, and
Really?
there's so much. Yeah. I now when there was, character interaction, I like it.
Mhm.
But boy, when you're going through legal talk and this and that and specifics, and it's too much talking at me. I
Mm.
just
Mhm.
don't I'm not a fan. Where Joe liked that part. Because I was like, "Oh my god," I would fall asleep and wake up and say, "Did you enjoy
And
that?"
you
And
were
he's
driving? What?
It helps. My undergraduate is legal administration. I was intending to go to law school, may still. So the legal thrillers really grabbed me. I mean, we're talking John Lesquin and James Patterson's Alex Cross series. There's so many
Mhm.
out there. They're so good. The John Lesquin's Harry Bosch, Hieronymus Bosch. So I love them. I love the
Mhm.
legal part of it. I love all the mechanics and the building of a case. My minor was criminal justice. The building of a case, the bringing of a case to court, what all the procedural steps are, and that's the stuff that made Diane's brain want to collapse.
Mhm.
Um, but here's the thing with this book, and part of it is Grisham, and this goes back to even some of his earlier works, just not as strongly. He has a very strong social conscience, and I admire that
Mhm.
great about him. And his books tend to incorporate certain social issue uh social issues into sort of the fabric of the story.
Mhm.
When done well, it's incredible. It's incredibly powerful. When done ham-fistedly, as was done in Widow, it's just clunky and detracts from the story. And it's like, just strip away all the fiction and just climb up on your soapbox and preach on your social issues, if that's what you're going to do. Here's my fundamental beef with legal thrillers in general. If you're and a whodunit falls into the same category. If you're going, there's ultimately going to be a reveal of some sort. And
Mhm.
Presumed Innocent, Scott Turo's Presumed Innocent, is one of the greatest in my opinion. I love
Yeah.
the reveal there. But there were clues, there were breadcrumbs along the way that you, looking back, were able to say, it's kind of
Yeah.
like with The Sixth Sense. Looking back, it was
Mhm.
like, oh, or
Yeah.
The Godfather
Mhm.
with the oranges. You can
Mhm.
go back and say, oh, okay, I see that. There was none of that in Widow. There were no breadcrumbs. It was like, here's this story and here's this issue. This guy was wrongly convicted, and it could be this person, it could be that person, and there were breadcrumbs planted, and I love a well-crafted blending of
Mhm.
breadcrumbs and red herrings. So
Explain what that is.
okay, red herring, I don't remember the origin of it, but it's something, basically it's a misleading clue.
Mhm.
It points to something that's not the thing. And that's probably not the dictionary definition of it.
But then a breadcrumb
I think
is
that's close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it when you have a blending of red herrings and breadcrumbs and you don't know which to believe, and you kind of follow the threads down and say, oh, nope, that's a dead end. Oh, nope, that's a dead end. In this, there were a whole bunch of what looked like breadcrumbs that turned out to be red herrings. And when you got to the reveal, there was none. There were no breadcrumbs. There were no red herrings. There were no threads. There were no nothing tying this random person for this random reason. There's again a good legal thriller whodunit. There's a motive. There's, the old mom in criminal justice, means, opportunity, and motive. There needs to be some motive. There not some, well, he just randomly liked killing people.
Yeah.
So boo John Grisham. I'm disappointed.
It was very disappointing.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask a question. Did you feel like it was too heavy-handed with the social issues, or just there wasn't a thread associating between the whodunit and the why they done it?
I personally, no, I thought the social issues were great that he put in there. It just the peeling of the onion ended up with, oh, it was a grape.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
That's a perfect way to put it. Perfect analogy.
Yeah, that actually gives me a great visualization. I kind of want to read it now to see the why, but that's my oppositional,
I thought the characters were good and rich. I did. I thought and I was telling Joe, well, I've not ever read one of these
political
mystery. And I swear to you,
you call it whatever you want.
Yeah. And so I like the characters he built, but then it's like, golly.
And that's the thing Grisham's been great at, is he does well building characters. So
yeah.
So that was
go ahead.
Everything leading to the grape was done well, and the legal procedures, and it was very nerdy legal. It was like, filing for a grand jury, and going jury duty, and they didn't bog down. A lot of them will bog down in jury selection, and this one didn't, because it wasn't that germane to the story. But all of those procedural things were done well, and they were well developed characters. Just the hook was crap.
Yeah, I would love for one of y'all to read it and give us your.
And I wonder if based on the what he did in the beginning, right? Because I too read a Grisham book. I'm a lover of Grisham's first books, like The Pelican Brief, and I noticed. I mean, you referenced it, but you just kind of skipped over it in the chronological order, and I think that's one of his iconic works. And I think partially because that was, I think, the first one that came out as a movie as well.
Which one?
The Pelican Brief.
Oh yeah.
And so I think it resonates more so, especially given what I do, right, for the full time. So like that idea of these two Supreme Court justices being murdered, and like the story that ties back into all this not espionage, but like this corrupt and this
subterfuge.
And I'm like, and so I wonder if maybe, as I was listening to you talk, and I was like, well, let me look at this. And so I looked at the book, and I wonder if this is kind of like the Ray Charles experimental phase. Like, he's known for his music of all these years, and all of a sudden he's going to do a country album. And so I wonder if all of a sudden you were moving away from that social justice aspect of everything, or the societal community justice that he's always advocated for and fought for in his books. And now it's like, this is just a rich old woman, not to be a spoiler, who all of a sudden just whatever, right? And so I wonder if maybe that's the thing that's like the character development, the story is there, but how do you go from wanting to save the environment to it's just a cash grab because your whole life is a pile of shit kind of thing?
Yeah, that's what it felt like. And even the suspension of disbelief necessary to buy into this crazy old woman, and throughout the story was like, why is she doing this? Why is she doing this? Why is she doing this? that was good. That enriched her character, and that brought some texture to the story. It was just the punchline at the end. Everything else was well done, what you would expect from a Grisham. But the punchline was like, what?
Yeah, that was it.
And you can't have that in a thriller or
Mm-mm.
a mystery. You've got to have some
See, I find that to be very frustrating. You get to the end, and I don't like it when things are wrapped up too nicely and neatly. I don't like it when things are, and this is one of the zillions of reasons I'm not an author, because for me, I would not do this well, and I find it really frustrating when you've invested all that time and effort, especially when you're trying to figure out the reasons why, and then to not have that match there,
yeah.
that would be a really frustrating experience, which I'm all in. I'm going to try it.
Good.
So I'm kind of intrigued by your book as well,
Yeah.
because, and I realize it's an advanced reader copy, but I'm like, that sounds right up my alley.
It's out this week.
Because
It was out last week.
okay, perfect. Because I too am into the political history books, because I find them to be absolutely just. That's for you, Diane. I find I do love a legal thriller, and again, I am that cozy mystery aficionado. But now I'm like, Joe had mentioned he was going to read Grisham and legal thriller, and I was like, let me just open up the bag of history of David and say, let's revisit some of his first works, because remembering back to Julia Roberts and
Denzel.
Denzel. I was about to say I was going to say Wesley Snipes, but I was like, that's not right. But Denzel Washington, and just the interaction those two had, especially when it came to Grantham or to Gray. And it's like, oh my God. And I can't remember who plays Gray Grant. Is it Gray Grantham? I always get that backwards.
Sounds
Grantham
right.
Gray.
Yeah.
But those characters' interaction was just absolutely lovely. And the storyline that Grisham wrote was just, I felt like I was in the book, and then watching the movie several years later, I was like, oh my God, this is why I love to read. Because you're right, that suspension of disbelief, and then you see it in motion pictures, and you're like, I never thought it could be like this, honestly.
Have
And
you
so it's
ever
a powerful tool.
read any John Lescroat? Lescroat.
No, I
I
haven't.
interviewed him once for a thing. I used to do a series of interviews when I was writing for our local paper, and he very graciously joined me, and lovely guy. And the one comment I asked him what he would change if he went back to the beginning of his writing career, and he said he would have a pen name, because if fiction is broken out into two major shelves, goes A at the top left to L at the bottom right down by the floor, and then M starts at the top left. And so he said it's just generally bad placement with an L. Plus, his last name was always people would always say, "Oh, are you Jean Le Carré?"
Right.
So that's anyway. That was his thing. Anyway, he's got books with his character that he develops over a series of books, and you pick them up individually or read the series. Anyway, he was a cop, then he was a prosecutor, then he went to law school, was a prosecuting attorney, then became a defense attorney. So when you're looking for immersion into the whole legal process, Harry Bosch is your guy, and John Lescroat is those, because it does have all of the pieces of a good legal thriller. There's a crime, there's new characters, even though you have the same core character and see him developed over a series of books. There's a new story that comes in with it every time, and it's just very, very fulfilling. But I want to hear what
I
Teresa said.
recognize the name of the character, but I've not read the author's work, so I don't know why I know Bosch.
There was a series,
Okay.
and I can't remember the name of the actor who was in it. I can see his face, but anyway,
Like on TV?
yeah.
Huh.
Nope. Sorry. Hieronymus Bosch is Michael Connelly, not Jean Lesquat.
I do want to say, so I was talking, so as we become more popular and we're hitting out there, one of my colleagues at work, and I won't give her full name, but Barbara, I was talking about, and she is the one who said that Joe needs to turn up his microphone a little bit. She actually, I told her what we were talking about this week because she loves it. She's like, I'm reading for her family book club, which I think is fantastic. A book called Protect and Defend by Richard North Patterson. And it's a book that was published in 2000. And I looked it up because we talked about it and I'm so intrigued. Right. And so people are, now that I work with, they're starting to talk to me about books. And I'm like,
That's
you
awesome.
realize that, I mean, I love a good book because they're like, I heard about your cozy mystery thing and I just want to talk to you about it. And I was like, okay, here we go. And so, but she came and she's like, okay. And this book by Richard North Patterson, it's about a woman's right to choose. And so it kind of delves into the political, but it's a fight before the court system on whether or not this 15-year-old girl can obtain an abortion given all these other factors that are involved. I don't want to spoil it. And again, I haven't read it, so I just have the synopsis from Barbara. But it's an amazing, from just my brief read and our conversation together, it's such a brief read. And her mom is a little more conservative. Her sister is the one who kind of, as she said she texts her sister's like, WTF, what do you think in bringing this book to the family book club? And I thought it was hilarious. And I was like, I could just see her going and just kind of lobbing that grenade into the family book club. And I want to read this book.
What's it called?
Because she said it's called Protect and Defend by Richard North Patterson. And it was published in 2001. And it talks about the dynamics of a family, legal battles regarding a woman's right to choose, a minor and their need for parental permission. And it's just a wild story.
But
so,
you said take the book and lob it at the family. Isn't that what we should be doing with, I'm not saying all of our books because, I'm an escapist when it comes to reading, but aren't books meant to make us think and to have conversation? Yes. And sometimes, let's say, mom is a bit more conservative than we are.
100%.
But I think books are a great way to have a common language about some of these things that maybe are a little more inflammatory than other topics, because you can talk about the character and be a little bit detached.
I think the book creates a neutral space,
much better,
where it's less personal, but yet where you can go and discuss the book and be a little less defensive of, your own personal beliefs or whatever.
Well, and what's interesting is she was talking about this. So she fully admitted, like 100%. She's like, I didn't read the entire book because it was 608 pages. I was like, holy smokes! But
Richard
I'm kind of into this now.
Patterson is a little wordy.
So I get that.
I've never read him.
See, I thought you read him. I thought you read this author for a book club at the church. Okay, I apologize. Anyway, so one of the things she said was, as they're reading this, and it's all on Zoom, her mom says, the father's wrong, and we as America have got it wrong. And I was like, if I had pearls, I was clutching. And she said, the fact that my conservative mother is saying we have got this wrong tells me that something's going on. And so now you've got this legal battle, not between the family, obviously, but you've got this legal battle in the book over an individual, their age, and the right to choose. I think it's a powerful story. And I love how that's 24, 25 years ago, and it's still telling the story of what we're fighting today in this country. And I think that's where Grisham of 1992, 1995 is more powerful for me, because he's telling the story of what we're still fighting and what we're seeing in today's politics or in today's world. And I think that's why I don't know that I would find The Widow, kind of like you, as compelling, because it doesn't tell that same struggle or strife. And so I don't know that I can be a Grisham apologist anymore. I apologize, John Grisham.
The thing about legal books, legal thrillers, and if you go on social media, you see this comment all the time. Why does everything have to be political? Well, because everything is political. And when you look at the law and a well done legal book, it deals with aspects of life that exist, that affect us, that we don't always get to see behind the curtain of. So a good legal thriller, because so much of our life in our society and is built on a foundation of laws and legal structure that directly influences our life, that we don't even ever necessarily stop to think about. Or if we do, it's like, hey, this is horrible, or hey, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
But with a good legal thriller, it'll pick a topic or topics and allow you to dive in and say, this is, oh, I understand a little bit more what's behind it. And what you were describing with Richard North Patterson's book, that's a thing, that it's an issue that affects our society that's not been resolved. Just like many of the things that have come up in like A Time to Kill, with sort of systemic racism that is buried beneath it, or underlies so much stuff. So anyway.
And now, to be fair, I do feel like in The Widow, Grisham was making a point about wrongly accused people. It just,
Yeah, the fundamental flaw of a jury system, where it's not uncommon for the jury to get it wrong just because of the performance of the attorneys or the judge, or
yeah.
The punchline, it would have been a fine book if the whodunit wasn't some rando that never existed anywhere else in the story.
That is so frustrating.
Thank you.
And that's so, I would think, not having read any of his work, but I would think that was not common in Grisham writing.
Pelican Brief is so intricate and so sort of outlandish, really, when you think about it, with Supreme Court justices being killed.
Yeah.
But it flows and it connects, and there's a logic to it where when you get to the end, you can look back and say, oh, that's the thread I should have been following all along. It wasn't just dropped out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, and what's interesting, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, now if Teresa reads it, maybe she'll go, there was a thread. You just weren't watching. You just weren't paying attention. So
it'll be interesting to read from that lens.
Yeah.
Well, and I want to circle back. I mean, you're right about the Pelican Brief, because this is a law school student in the presence of Darby Shaw, and she's writing about, if these two seats change, what is the impact on our laws and society? And then if you think about it from the standpoint of the end of the Obama administration and into the first Trump administration, you've got that seat that's held by Antonin Scalia, and he dies. And then they prevent Obama from making the appointment with Merrick Garland, and then how we've progressed legally from that point to now. And so I think that was the other thing when I started reading. I was like, click, 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 because we went from being a 5-4 majority to a 6-3 majority for the conservatives, and we've changed laws that have had a substantial impact on our society. And so I think for me, that's super empowering, or super powerful. It's something I'll talk to my students about tomorrow. And I say that tomorrow, but when I'm in my next lecture talking about the courts, because think about what would be different if we were a 5-4 as opposed to a 6-3. Right. Would women still have the right to choose? That kind of issue. And not to turn this into a political discussion, but that's what I saw.
Political mysteries we're talking about.
Right, 100%.
I'll call them whatever you want.
But I want to say,
but the thing in that, again, a good legal thriller has to have the mom. Now, yes, you can convict in court without defining the motive and so on and so forth, but within the construct of the legal thriller, if you want to lead the reader along, not just blindside the reader, but lead the reader along, you've got to interweave the means, the opportunity, and the motive into the story for it to flow. And David, you're talking about the what is the motive? Well, if you knock off these Supreme Court justices, we get them replaced with such and such. We've seen the reality of that, but in the story, that becomes a key element of the motive behind the thriller, the legal thriller part.
Boy, and he saw that coming.
Yeah, he's John Grisham. I said I'd never read Grisham again, but I was mad at this ending. And there's also the possibility, maybe, that the audio book is somewhat different than the text. So I'm interested to hear your perspective on that and see if we just missed a thread.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
or if it
I will
wasn't.
I will do a print copy or like an ebook. But I also wonder because Grisham has such a he's got so many powerful legal thrillers, and then he's taken a step back and has done didn't he do Hoosiers?
Well, it wasn't Hoosiers, but he did a book about basketball, one about baseball.
Yeah.
He's written a lot of nonfictions.
And so I wonder,
So
if
Yeah.
that's a muscle that he's not wanting to flex right now.
Maybe a little rusty.
he also wrote a book about it's called The Innocent Man. Murder and Injustice in a Small Town. It was a real true crime book.
Collection of short stories, I think, wasn't it? Yeah.
Did he write that
I
with
believe
somebody,
that
David?
Yes. No. So Innocent Man he wrote by himself, and then the other one that Joe's referencing, what did you call it, Joe? The collection of short stories?
Yeah.
Okay, that one I think he wrote with somebody.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he wrote so Framed by the collection of short stories was written by True Stories of Wrongful Convictions was written by Jim McCloskey.
Okay, I started reading that, and
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love true crime, and it was one that I chose not to spend any more time with.
But I think, and this is merely my opinion, I think as he's built that foundation of amazing writer, right? Much like Stephen King or James Patterson, he's kind of branched off to do things that are more his passion, because he has the ability to. He's earned that ability or earned that right, if you will. Excuse me. So he can just say, I'm not going to write another legal thriller. I'm going to write about wrongful convictions.
Yeah.
Which are a huge deal. And we actually study that in my classes because we talk about the Innocence Project, where people are, removed from death row. Sadly, not all of them while they're still alive. So I think that's something that's near and dear to his heart. I think Grisham is a former lawyer, obviously. And I think that's why it's so important to him.
I think he is a part of the Innocence Project as well. I don't know exactly the role, but yeah. So given all of that, we still haven't heard about Teresa's book.
We talked about my book.
I wanted to sort of get all these caveats in there and then hear your experience with your book by Phillip Margolin within the context of all these prejudices against legal thrillers or bad legal thrillers.
Once again, I thought it was really well done. In looking back, I wonder if I had tuned in a little bit more, I would have found those breadcrumbs. Since I am an escapist when it comes to reading, even when I approach a legal thriller, my goal isn't to solve it. My goal is to go along for the ride.
Okay.
But with that being said, I am really offended when there's a mismatch. When somebody pops up. Okay, do you remember Dallas, the TV show? And that whole season.
I know where you're going.
Yes. And am I right?
The shower,
you can't say it's all a dream.
Where,
Yeah.
Yeah, where he wakes up in the shower. She sees him. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah. I think maybe I respect myself more as a reader than being willing to settle for something like that. But I also haven't read this. I'm looking forward to reading it because sometimes it's the things that don't hit that are even more powerful in when I choose my next book. And I haven't read a legal thriller in a really long time, and I do like Margolin. And I like Baldacci. I like Margolin. Baldacci has so many books that are part of a series that I didn't get on the ground level with those, and so I haven't read much of his recent stuff. But I do enjoy a legal thriller.
By the way, John Lesquois' character is Dismas Hardy. It's not Harry Bosch is
Connolly.
yeah, Michael Connolly. But
Okay.
Dismas
Okay.
similar. Dismas Hardy is but Bosch was the series on some streaming channel.
Gotcha.
I can't remember what it was called.
What are you gonna say, David?
I want to. I want to ask a question. So, the issue that you have is that, like, it was good until you figured out it was all just smoke and mirrors. Am I understanding this right? So,
On
like,
Dallas?
you're saying the Dallas scene, or even in the book, right? It's good until all of a sudden it's like, well, that's not what it was. It's all just hypothetical, or it's all just multidimensional. Am I understanding that right?
No, the Dallas. Well, go ahead.
Me, it's lazy writing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's like, I mean, you can say that about anything. You can turn anything into
100%.
Well, just dreaming.
Yeah.
I think that's part of
Because
a really
they-
well-crafted story, is that you do have these pieces and parts that somehow magically overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah, what they did is they wrote themselves into a corner.
Mm.
Ratings suffered. It was Patrick Duffy. I can't remember the character's name. But they killed him off.
Bobby Ewing.
Yeah,
Bobby Ewing.
I was
There
thinking
you
it was
go.
Larry Hagman, but you're right.
Wrote him into the corner, wrote themselves into a corner. The ratings shat the bed, and because Bobby was gone, and so they said we got to bring him back. So they brought him back in a shower, and it was all just a dream. That's my interpretation of it, and it was a bad reason for it to all, because there was a dream sequence in The Sopranos that was, or the coma sequence when Tony was in the coma, but that played into the underlying sort of subconscious psychological issues that he had. It wasn't to paint themselves out of a corner. Whereas with Dallas, it was just so bad. They screwed up by killing the character and then had to unscrew up. And this is how they did it. Well, just kidding.
Yeah. But the fact that you knew what I was going to say before I said it is fairly telling that that's been, I mean, do you remember when?
Yeah, I mean, that's a culturally iconic example of bad writing.
Yeah.
But I think that's important. I mean, even if it was so bad, and yet we're still talking about it today.
No. You cannot spin this positively,
We
David.
still talk about jumping the shark with Happy Days. It's got a whole thing, and oh my God, was I wouldn't even have to watch her.
I remember the story. I watched it in reruns, but I also remember. Did you just make a face at me?
I did.
That wounds me in my heart. But I also remember there was the Newhart episode at the very last episode where he wakes up next to his wife from a previous show, and he's like, "Oh, I just had the weirdest dream."
But that was brilliant writing.
It was brilliant because it was an ironic twist of this really crappy Dallas storyline.
Yep.
It tied the Newhart, because the shows were the Newhart show and the Bob Newhart show or something like that. It played on the fact that this is the same character between the two shows. It brought Suzanne Plachette back. They were
both iconic shows.
Yeah.
They 100%. I'm not disagreeing. I just find it. I mean, I was just thinking, like, you're not on board with the Dallas, but you're like, I'm all on board with
totally different
Newhart.
things. One is well thought out. One is not.
Advocate. There is nothing positive about that. The Dallas Bobby Ewing death scene. There's nothing.
No, there's not.
And I just read an interview or part of an interview with Henry Winkler, and somebody asked him about the interviewer asked him about the jump the shark, said, was it hurtful that, your water skiing jumping the shark was kind of marked the end of the show? He said, no, the show went on for another 2.5 years after that. Said, we did fine. It's everybody else that talks about jumping the shark. We ended the show when we were ready to end the show. It didn't end with that episode. So no, I don't feel
Well,
bad
same with
about it.
Dallas. Dallas didn't end with that dream sequence episode either. It just was stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I think it's funny. I mean, I'm not picking, but like we are collectively as a society, we're upset about the whole Dallas dream sequence. But then if you watch all those classic my mom and grandmother soap operas, how many different times was it like, oh, he's back or she's back? And it's like, how many times we kill people off in that show? Like
Dr. Drake Ramore.
Yeah, see, right? That dude like died 50 times if he died once.
I think it's a totally different, I think it's a completely different instance though, David. Joe mentioned, or maybe Diane mentioned lazy. That was such a cop-out way of explaining all of these things that had happened. And I don't know. I don't think it equates to the soap opera thing.
And I'm not, I mean, I wasn't then, not now, a fan of Dallas or soap operas. So I'm just asking questions because, yeah. I also think, hi, thank you for coming. I also think of like on South Park, they always kill off Kenny every week. And it's like,
yeah.
At some point it gets to be lazy, but it's also become like a running spoof and joke. So like, how are they going to kill Kenny this week kind of thing? So, but I'm with you. Like, I get it. I'm not a fan of Dallas. I was just curious how one is more acceptable than the other. So kind of thing. I
was a fan of Dallas, but not to, I had stopped watching at that point. So obviously it had lost viewers.
Yeah. And once again, the fact that you guys knew exactly what I was going to say before I said it about the disconnect there is pretty telling.
Yeah.
And I guess we need to talk about some shows and TV, because otherwise I had no idea what you were talking about. I love you, like big hearts, but I was lost.
It's okay. We don't all have a shared experience, you know?
The encyclopedic knowledge of amazing TV programs. So doors all locked?
Doors are fixed.
Yay.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had, like I said, the doors were open, but they locked the mechanism. So the same locking mechanism, it was blocking them from closing all the way. So we had little gaps. So when we had this vicious storm blow through here, we had to close it to keep the rain out, but it stayed open about a quarter of an inch. So the wind was just whistling through the doors. So we had to open it more than that. So we got rain on the floor. It's a whole lot going on here in
Vegas.
What happens in Vegas stays in Las Vegas.
But I do want to do a shout out to the Palms Place.
Yeah.
Hotel. So if they would like to sponsor us,
there you go.
Beautiful accommodations.
It looked gorgeous.
We are bringing it.
Yeah.
The Patchouli Podcast Network is broadcasting live from the Palms Place in Las Vegas, beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada.
Exactly.
This is our view.
Oh my.
Yeah. It's
rainy. How can you beat that?
It's great.
I know.
Yeah. And then over here. Yeah,
is that the stadium?
Barely see the stadium.
Allegiant Stadium.
We're about 2 miles from the stadium.
Yeah.
So yeah, we ended up parking. Sorry, we
got to move it back some. That looks huge.
Yeah. We wound up parking directly across Hacienda from the stadium, less than 100 yards from where we walked in the gates, which was unheard of. And then we got out of there last night after the game. There were a couple places where it slowed down, a couple places where people were crazy driving, but yeah, it was just couldn't have been more positive experience unless the Raiders won.
I'm so glad I'm glad it's been a successful trip with family and then with football and then meeting new friends. And then your room truly is
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah, that was
Really
just
gorgeous.
purely accidental, but it's been great spending time with family. Mom's 89, so she's convinced that at some point she's no longer going to be with us. I'm not convinced of that. She's pretty stubborn. But yeah, I had a great visit with her. We're going over to play some games with her this afternoon when we're done.
Good.
My sister and meeting the great grandbabies and yeah, and then we're leaving here in a couple of days and going to Los Angeles to see more grandbabies and my son and daughter-in-law, and yeah,
It's
it's
perfect.
our annual
Quite an
pilgrimage.
adventure. And we'll be back the day before Thanksgiving. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Good.
But yeah, his mom is an avid reader. She was just telling me about a book, but I can't remember.
I can't remember the name of it, but there's like a disappearance. It's 11 years in the past, and it tells you in the top of each chapter whether you're 11 years in the past or in the present, but each chapter is written from a different POV. One of the characters.
I love that.
She loved it. She said it was
Yeah.
phenomenal. And she goes, "Have you read it yet? I told you about it 2 weeks ago." I was like, "Dude, I literally have 20 books stacked on the pile. I literally have a TBR pile of books behind my chair at home." So
I'd be interested to know what book it is because I enjoy the time jumps and I enjoy different points of view. Done well, there is really nothing better than to figure out why people are related. You know?
Right.
How did we not have her on the episode today?
I know.
We need to have her on an
I
episode.
love that.
That would be fun. But yeah,
Yeah, don't know if
we have to do it while we're here to help her with it.
with the technology. Yeah,
Okay, so you guys are leaving for Los Angeles when?
Friday.
Friday.
Maybe we could.
Yeah.
Can we do a picture book, or what did you call it, a board book episode for Thanksgiving? Like, do something fun?
I don't know. It
And
sounds
just
like
have-
she's an
have
avid
Mom on
reader. I
there?
want to capitalize
She's
on
an avid
her
reader.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Which brings us kind of, Joe, what are you thinking for it's your turn next time?
Yeah, I haven't been thinking much about it. The sort of thematically what was going on in my mind, because it is Indigenous Peoples Month or Native American Heritage Month. I can't remember what it's called. I apologize.
I think
Is
it's
it?
Native American Heritage Month. It
Yeah.
keeps popping up on the palm sign down here. So I'm just waiting for it to pop up
Gotcha.
again.
Anyway, because it's Native American Heritage Month, and because Thanksgiving, there's certainly lots of differing perspectives on the Thanksgiving holiday. For me, Thanksgiving has always been about, besides overeating, but spending time with family. Like my sister made a Thanksgiving dinner for all of us here that are here in town last Saturday. And so we had a sort of 2 weeks early pre-Thanksgiving. So that's what I think of when I think of Thanksgiving, is the family and coming together. Obviously, the mythology of Halloween or of Thanksgiving and the reality of it are not always not aligned, not the same story. So finding that place somewhere in the middle where the legend and the reality can be told in a way that is, we were talking before about sometimes books can be the place where uncomfortable conversations can be held, but something along those lines where the perspective of those who were negatively impacted by the Thanksgiving events are taken into consideration as we're talking about spending time with family and overeating and those kinds of things.
Well, I know that you will inform us and tell us exactly how you want us to choose those books, because I think there's probably many, but then when pressed, I can't think of even one.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And that's kind of where I am. That's why I didn't get too far beyond the theme, plus just we've been running around here so
Yeah.
much.
One thing that you said was spending time with family is one of the things that you think of when you think of Thanksgiving. For my for my book club, we are doing complicated families as the theme this month, which has been a hoot to figure out which book I want to read because honestly, there are a lot.
Have you ever
I
seen
bet.
the movie Home for the Holidays with Robert Downey Jr.'s in it? What's her Holly Hunter? Is
Yeah.
that her name?
Holly
Holly
Hunter.
Hunter.
I have not.
Oh my goodness, it should be mandatory watching every year for
Really?
Thanksgiving to prepare families for the holidays. It is, it is. I cannot recommend that movie strongly enough.
Well, we're kind of like you guys. Our go-to, we enjoy hanging out with our family and we enjoy um the get-togethers and so I'm just so glad that you're able to do that right now.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yep.
Oh, National Native American Heritage Month.
There
Oh,
we
thank
go.
you.
Here's the cast of this movie, by the
Okay.
way. Holly Hunter, Robert Downey Jr., Anne Bancroft, Charles Durning, Steve Guttenberg, Claire Danes, Geraldine Chaplin, Dylan McDermott. That's the openers.
So it's a good one, huh?
It is a good one. And what made me think of that, Local Missing Woman is the name of the book.
I knew it was missing something.
Yeah, Local Missing Woman. That's the one.
That his mom
Oh,
recommended.
okay. Is that Kubicek? Kubicek? Mary, maybe? I don't know.
I don't
Local
know. Anyway, but
missing.
what made me think about, she loved it, by the way.
Okay.
Interesting.
Another mystery.
Psychological thriller.
Mhm.
All right.
You know, Teresa and I read a psychological thriller. We each got a copy. Do you remember that? It's like, oh gosh, it was the British mystery, psychological mystery. Rose.
Oh,
Yeah. And I never finished my copy. Did you finish your copy?
I did not. The dog ate part of it, and so I took that as a sign.
It was weird. It was super
really
weird.
Based upon a true story of a serial killer.
Yeah.
Or a couple that was a serial killers.
Oh.
And yeah, it was Fred and Rose.
Fred, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was wild. It's the best way to say it. And this book that your mom is reading, I'm kind of interested in. Like, I pulled it up, the cover. I mean, you know how you feel about a cover.
Okay, tell me the name of it again, because I think maybe I've read it.
Local Woman Missing.
Okay, I think I've read it.
The Local Woman Missing.
Local Woman Missing.
Yeah.
And it goes back 11 years, and I remember
Yep.
her talking about that. Every chapter they go back 11 years, and then you go forward for each character, POV. So,
yeah. We should have her on. Him hang out with us.
Yeah, we should figure it out. We'll have
Be kind of fun.
Yeah, maybe we'll just make an addendum edition.
Yeah.
The reason I thought
or if we recorded this one, it could be what goes for next week.
Yeah. Anyway, what made me think of the back to the theme for next week, what made me think of Home for the Holidays is you talked about, not all family events are straight out of who's the famous painter? Norman Rockwell.
Oh, right, for sure.
Yeah, not we live in real families and blended families and like I mentioned, my granddaughter, it's actually my ex-stepson's daughter and her family. So there's no blood there, but we choose family. We decide who our family is.
Absolutely. And that's actually one of my favorite tropes is found family. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, talk about books that can be very, very well done. I mean, that is one that will just tug at my heartstrings because I agree with you. Just because your blood doesn't mean it's better. And I think that the found family that we have that we seek out the people we choose to spend time with, like you guys. You
Yeah.
know, you guys are part of our family, and I think that is really one of the wonderful things about life. We can make those connections and love who we want to love.
And
Yeah.
I love stories, again, thinking of the book, and maybe y'all have some ideas, but I love stories where the situation isn't the traditionally perfect, iconic, beautiful family setting, but in spite of that, there are the closenesses and the connections. That's really what I love about Home for the Holidays. And no, I don't have stock in the company. But those stories where it's like it's an unpleasant situation or it's a weird situation, but here's the magic that came out of it. The human connection, the family connection, the found family connection. Yeah, those are all the kinds of, those are the, that to me, as I've gotten older and older, that's the magic of special times and special holidays, is making it a positive experience for all those involved.
I 100% agree with you, which is a shocker because normally you and I don't agree.
Okay.
Really, honestly, I think y'all agree so much more than
We probably
you give
do.
yourself.
Our starting position is we agree on nothing. That's our
Right?
going in the door position. And then we find out we agree on almost everything.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Diane's right. We actually do.
Okay, let me propose
Okay.
this as a sort of going slightly different. Stories come in all forms, some literary, some visual media. Perhaps instead of a specific book, maybe the homework is just to watch Home for the Holidays. Then we come back and talk about all the different books and stories. Oh, David, you're no fun.
What?
Like, fine.
Well, actually,
I was trying to
hold on. No. I'm on board with this because what do you think about this? We come together having chosen a movie that represents the holidays for us. So it could be Home for the Holidays for you guys. It could be the date plan I have with my beautiful wife on Thursday. I wonder what movie's being released on Thursday.
I know.
So
is it the Wicked
it
one?
is the new Wicked, yes.
Yeah.
If our
Okay.
plans had worked out, I was gonna surprise us with a double feature, but it didn't work out. Not a big deal. We can watch them both at home at any time. But Wicked for Good, I believe, is what.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Home for the Holidays is a book by Chris Radant. It's a collection of humorous autobiographical stories about a dysfunctional 40-year-old woman and her family. It was released in conjunction with the 1995 film of the same name, directed by Jodie Foster.
I'll
So
watch
it is
the movie. I'll watch it. I'm going in, and I'm not even a
It
really
is
movie
so
watcher, but I'll do it.
Jodie Foster directed.
I love her.
I will also, since I don't want to be the odd rabbit out, so I will watch Home for the Holidays as well.
Okay.
As long as we all can agree that the Christmas movie we will watch is the timeless Die Hard.
I've never seen it.
It's the epitome of Christmas movies.
Podcast assignment, podcast homework.
I'm gonna watch one movie.
Well, and I think if we use something like that, and I actually may go see if we can find the book. If we use that as sort of the canvas for the discussion about non-traditional family holiday event things. So the movie will be sort of the palate cleanser, the table setting for the meal that we will deliver to our beloved 6 people who listen to the podcast.
All 6.
They all deserve our love.
They do.
I think there's more than 6. We are becoming our own little bastion of energy as it relates to books.
Well, there you
Yeah, we're our own little weird corner of the internet.
The fact that we get to chat about books, I'm good. Okay, everybody, don't forget to go by Patchouli Joe's, fill out your 5 choices.
YOLO Book
Later.
Club.
Yes. And so explain that real quick. I know that we talked about it last week, but I want people to be able to do this.
It is where you go I think you pick somebody's name and then pick one of the books that they have picked out. And then you leave a sheet of paper with which Patchouli Joe's will provide, where you list 5 books that you would like someone to choose from to buy for you. And so you purchase the book for the card you drew, and the store will take care of getting that book in, wrapping it, having it ready for that person to pick up. And then your name will go into the bucket to be chosen by somebody else. We have set it up to make sure that everybody who buys a book and puts their name in will get a book, because we as the staff put our picks in first to make sure there will always be somebody there to provide a book.
And
then on
December 19th, I think it is, from 5 to 7 p.m., we will get together. I'm checking the time or the date. But on those, let me check the date. We'll come together in
3 to
Jammies.
5 is what it says on our calendar.
No, it's 5 to 7. That's shifted
you guys have
time.
adjusted to
yeah, that's
it's 5 to 7 p.m. on December 19th. We will come together. Everybody will come together. Of course, this is based on YOLO Book Flood, which is the Icelandic tradition of giving and receiving and coming together over books for Christmas. And we will do that where there will be hot chocolate and probably some snacks and a bunch of people in jammies coming together to
open their book and
exchange books and read books and celebrate the magic that is books in our world.
I think
I'd like
so beautiful.
Quiet, you read books, but really it's more joyous and visiting.
A lot of conversations and
Have you guys set it up for people at our remote, far-flung locations from around the world to participate as well?
We've not, but we probably just need to tell Hannah, hey,
figure that out.
Magic idea.
Just if someone's interested, they can contact the store. Am I correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I would love to participate with Granny Patchouli. So I don't know what we're calling your mom, but I'm going with Granny Patchouli.
Mama Patchouli, I think, is what
Mama Patchouli.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it seems like there would be a way to do that.
Yeah, let me drop a note on the Book Slingin' Slack channel, and somebody will come up with an idea.
I think this is one of the most beautiful ways for people to come together, and no matter what their interests are, to share truly the love of this written word. I mean, how fortunate we are to have such choices out there.
Right. Yeah.
What's the deadline for ordering?
The 5th.
Okay.
December 5th, to make sure that we get the books ordered.
Ordered and in on time.
Yeah.
And it may not be that we can do it long distance this year. It may be something you have to set up for next year.
That's fine, just as long as we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one more thing on your plate.
Exactly.
By the way, Diane, I appreciate you having Charlie reach out to us about his honeymoon vacation extravaganza. I asked him some questions I haven't heard back, so you may just be like, "Hey, Charlie, check your text messages."
Okay.
So yeah,
that
kind of thing.
Awesome. He told us he reached out.
So. Yeah, I responded to him. It took me a little bit. We were at an amazing musical where I did my standard lunch and nap for the outsiders. So yeah, it was fantastic.
How was that? Yeah, how was the musical? Because I wasn't sure.
It was really good. Now I call it halftime. We did leave at halftime. because I mean, I just read
Says
the
something
book,
right there.
and so I knew how it ended, and it was
And David was napping.
yeah, David was napping, but it was really well done. The music was very good, and I think they did a very good job of telling the story, but it's not an uplifting story. There's nothing,
Right.
Yeah.
nothing happy
No.
about it. So
Yeah.
But it's a classic.
yeah, but it was good. Yeah, it's a classic. We could have more episodes on what a classic is, because I feel so strongly.
I adore it. So,
We have opinions.
We do,
yeah.
and we're not afraid to share them.
No, we're not.
Which is the joy. And that's the beauty. And frankly, I think there's more progress made at those points of friction where there is disagreement. We can kind of grind through it, because I know when someone whom I respect a great deal, and I respect all three of you tremendously, when you have an opinion that's different than mine, my natural instinct is not to persuade you that you're wrong and I'm right. My natural reaction at that point is like, wait a minute, these people who I love and respect think, what am I missing? Let me hear what they're thinking about. And that's what I feel like this conversation about books does.
I agree with you completely, because I don't really feel a need to dig my heels in as much as I would, as much as I like to joke about that. It's
Same.
it's so nice to have a space where we can disagree on whatever, and know that you're still, at the end of the day, we're still friends and found family,
Yep.
no matter what.
Absolutely. All right. So next week we don't know when yet we're going to record this. We may literally record it with the phone hooked up to our windshield as we're driving down the road.
That's
Because
exciting.
we've discovered we can do that.
We can do that. We may need to. We've still got some microphone issues we got to sort out.
Yeah.
But if we will go, sort of our theme for next episode will be families coming together for holidays. Whether those families are blood or found or both or combinations, and where our homework is to read Home for the Holidays, or to watch Home for the Holidays, or read Home for the Holidays, the book. And any other books that we can think of that sort of fit within that conversation. How's that
I
sound?
think that sounds great. I think it'll be a really interesting conversation. If nothing else, we can provide some ideas and recommendations for folks,
Right.
over the next
Yeah.
month or so.
Absolutely. And I think we've all got stories of holiday events where things didn't go as planned, perhaps, and yet the things that the magic and the memories and the traditions that came out of that, are part of our own personal lore. Okay.
Well, thank you for
All right.
thank you for doing the legal thrillers, and I'm going to read that one. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Anxious to hear what you have to
Yeah.
say.
Bye, guys. Be safe.
All right.
All right.
We love
love
you.
you
We
too.
will see you soon. And thank you, those of you who are listening or watching. We will keep talking about books, because we are forever four friends.
Bye.
Bye.
This is the Patchouli Podcast Network.